Chairs No Waiting, episode number 238, the eBullet, May 2013. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weavers and pick up some of the amazing Mayberry items they've got. It's summertime, so drop by and pick up a Mayberry t-shirt or two. Show your Mayberry pride and walk around with Mayberry on your shirt. Drop by weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of Two Chairs No Waiting, number 238, is Ben Weaver. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, folks, for joining me here in Mayberry again this week. Wow, 238 episodes of Two Chairs No Waiting. Never really thought too much about how long this would be going, but wow, that's a lot of episodes, a lot of me talking about the Andy Griffith Show. Now, this week we're going to be talking about the eBullet from May 2013. Now, it happens to be, as I record this, June the 3rd. So it's the 3rd of June as I'm recording this. So I missed the entire month of May. Now, to my defense, the eBullet didn't come out till the 22nd of May, so there's only been one episode since it came out. But I didn't want time to pass. I didn't want this to go by without us talking about what's in the eBullet this past month, because Jim Clark, who is the presiding goober of the Andy Griffith Show Rio and Watchers Club, does an amazing job with the eBullet and puts out some amazing information every other month for all of us Mayberry fans. So I wanted to definitely be able to capture just some of the things that he has done over time, and so that you guys would be able to hear those and to, just be able to enjoy them as we go through. So instead of me just reading, I think I'm going to play a little bit of background music, just to put us in the mood. And I want to thank the VW boys for giving me that music that I can use. And now let's read about the eBullet from May 2013. All right, so this is issue 3, volume 13 of the eBullet. Welcome to the 3rd issue of the eBullet for 2013. And read on, it says, for news about recent and upcoming happenings with cast and members and fans, and also merchandise, including some brand new items as well as some vintage old ones that have recently returned to our Weaver's Department Store shelves. So going away from the script of the eBullet there, if you didn't realize, when I tell you every week about Weaver's Department Store is run by the Andy Griffith Show Rio and Watchers Club. And that's where the funding for the club comes from. So anytime you purchase from Weaver's, you're helping keep the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club alive. And I want to encourage you to do that, because that is an amazing organization that does so much to keep Mayberry alive and hopping. Now let's head back over to the eBullet. We're talking about first a little bit about Floyd's Barbershop Bulletin Board. Now we're going to skip through this. This is a calendar, and I want to encourage you to head over to the podcast, or not the podcast, but the imayberry.com website, and click on event calendar when you go there, and you'll be able to go and see the exact same information that's in the eBullet every month. It's the entire calendar of Mayberry events. So definitely head over to imayberry.com, click the event calendar to find out what the most current events are at the time you're listening to this podcast. But I'll give you some snapshots in time to let you know what's going on right now. So we got coming up June the 5th through the 9th, Ronnie Shell. You remember Ronnie Shell from Gomer Pyle's show? He was on the Andy Griffith Show as well, selling fur coats. He's going to be performing at the Comedy Room at Harvey's in Lake Tahoe. Dean Webb's one of the Darling Boys. Him and his Missouri boat ride, they're performing on June 8th. If you're interested, go and check out the calendar. James Best is doing stuff on the 8th as well. If you're in the Mount Airy area on June 8th, head over to the Andy Griffith Museum, and you'll get to hear from Neil Brower, who's been interviewed here on this podcast. And he's going to be lecturing about the loaded goat. Got Betty Lynn's going to be at the Mayberry, the Andy Griffith Museum in Mount Airy on the 21st of June. You don't want to miss that. She'll be signing autographs from 12:30 to 3 o'clock or 3:30. She'll have them there with her. Folks, there's just so many things to talk about on here. Let me hit the high points, but the really high points for Mayberry fans. Coming up in June 22nd, Maggie Peterson and Rodney Dillard, the Dillard Band, will be performing at Summer Nights Cruise In at downtown Somerset, Kentucky. David Browning, the Mayberry deputy, will be on hand patrolling as well. You want to head over and see them there. If you don't get to make that, you can head on over on July the 19th when Betty will once again, Thelma Lou, be greeting fans at the Andy Griffith Museum from 12:30 to 3:30. And she'll have her autographs with her, so definitely head over there and check that out. Now, if you don't get to do any of those things, Betty is at the Mayberry or the Andy Griffith Museum the third weekend. She's there the third week of every month, so check out the event calendar and check that out. Now, we got a big event coming up in August, the 23rd and the 24th. Rodney Dillard and Maggie Peterson are going to be joined by several tribute artists, including the Mayberry deputy, David Browning, myself, Floyd Newsom, Alan will be there, Kenneth Junkin, Otis, Phil Fox as Ernest T, and Jeff Branch as Howard Sprague. We're going to be on hand for the cruise in on Friday night, and then a concert benefiting the Montgomery County DARE program on Saturday night in Troy, North Carolina, August 23rd and 24th. So go and check out the event calendar if you'd like to be a part of that. Then, of course, the big stuff's coming up later in the month. We've got the big Mayberry Days weekend. We got life lessons from Mayberry. If you want to hit that before you go to Mayberry Days, it's September 24th through the 26th. It's in Ridgecrest, North Carolina. And then the 24th annual Mayberry Days coming up in September. So make sure you make plans for that. If you've never been to Mayberry Days, it's something you do not want to miss. This year, we're going to have James Best is going to be there. Karen Knotts will be there. We're going to have Betty Lynn, of course, and Elizabeth McCrae. She will be there. Now, she, if you don't remember, was Gomer Pyle's girlfriend, Lou Ann Poovey. And she also appeared on one episode of the Andy Griffith Show. So definitely make plans to be at Mayberry Days. Now, if you don't get to do that, you'll be able to head over to the Mayberry Cruise number 8. That's October 28th through the November the 2nd. You can head over there for a 5-day cruise. And we're going to have Jackie Joseph, my darn Romina. She's going to be on hand with us, as well as Leroy McNeese from the Country Boys. So definitely join us there if you get a chance to. The Mayberry Cruise is an amazing, amazing event. And if you've never been on one of the cruises, I definitely want to encourage you to make plans to be there too. Several Mayberry events coming up this year, 2013. So please, please make plans to be at one of them. And if you're there and Floyd's there, tell Floyd you said, hey. All right. All right, so let's head on back in here to the eBullet. We got some cast and crew news of things that are going on right now. So let's see what Jim found out. Ron Howard's next feature film release, the action-filled biography Rush, is about the rivalry of Formula One racing legends James Hunt and Niki Lauda. This continues to get great media buzz as it revs up for its release on September the 20th. Meanwhile, the big fun this month is the much-anticipated release of the 4th season of Arrested Development on Netflix. The entire 4th season will be released exclusively on Netflix on May 26th. Ron, one of the show's executive producers, is back as narrator for the series, a cult favorite whose production has experienced its own Arrested Developments for the past 7 years. Ron also has an on-camera cameo this season. And the smart money is the return of Clint Howard reprising his first season role as tree hugger Johnny Bark. While the adventures of the Emmy-winning show's Bluth family are not exactly the kind of gentle or kind and gentle as Mayberry, they are hilarious thanks to the show's brilliant writing, acting, and overall production traits the Arrested Development does share with the Andy Griffith Show. It's also been announced that Ron will direct the film adaptation of In the Heart of the Seas, a tragic story of the Essex, a whaling ship destroyed by a whale in 1820. Ron's been spotted casually scouting possible filming locations in the Northeast, Great Britain, and elsewhere. And, still on Ron Howard news, Ron and Imagine Entertainment partner Brian Glazier are working on bringing Friday Night Lights TV series to the big screen, where filmed versions of Friday Night Lights based on the Friday Night Lights book started in 2004. The interesting twist is that Imagine likely will use crowdfunding, that is, money from fans through Kickstarter or a similar program, as part of the backing for the new movie. Ron and Imagine are likewise still looking for a way to bring Stephen King's The Dark Tower to screens of various sizes. This project has been Ron's elusive white whale, not to be confused with his work on In the Heart of the Seas, of course. There's been a lot of speculation about the prospects for Dark Tower while Ron has been at the Cannes Film Festival this month. In the Face of Jen, a 2005 novel by Ron's wife Cheryl, writing under the lightly disguised pen name of Cheryl Howard Crew, will be released as an audiobook this summer. Daughter Bryce Dallas Howard, provided the voices of all the characters in the audiobook. And it was official. Jim Neighbors came back home again to Indiana for this year's Indiana 500 on May 26th. Since 1972, Jim has missed singing the song live at the Indy 500 only twice, in 2007 and in 2012, both times because of illness. A video of Jim singing the song was recorded in Hawaii for last year's race because Jim was recovering from a heart valve replacement and was not able to travel. The 16th annual George Lindsay UNA Film Festival, the first since George Lindsay passed away last May, was another big success and a positive sign that the festival will continue to thrive as George has hoped. Daughter Camden was able to attend and represent the Lindsay family. In April of 2013, George's hometown of Jasper, Alabama, officially dedicated a ball field in the city park in George's honor. So it was a hit one for the old goober, the George Lindsay Field of Dream in Jasper, Alabama. That's awesome. All right, Betty Lynn greeted fans at the Andy Griffith Museum on May 17th, and we'll be back in June the 21st. Look for the museum at the third Friday afternoon of just about every month, with occasional special appearances on other dates. Connie Sawyer, who played Kansas City newspaper researcher Miss Blanchard on the episode Helen's Past, it was episode number 243. She was on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno earlier in the month of May. Now 101, Connie Sawyer may be the oldest living person who worked on the Andy Griffith Show. She has appeared in countless TV and movie productions in a film career spanning 65 years and still counting. If you want to check out more about that, there's a link to about her appearance on The Tonight Show that you'll find in the eBullet from May 2013. Karen Knotts, the daughter of Don Knotts, she's going to be back with her one-woman Tied Up in Knots show at Mayberry Days in Mount Airy come September. Also look for her in Maine, Kentucky, and Louisiana, and Kansas, and Virginia. You can check out her website, KarenKnotts.com, if you'd like to get more information. And if you'd like to see her in a show which features lots of stories about her dad in your area, let local event organizers and venues know that they can contact her through her website. Now, we're sad to report that Robert Nichols, who played the relief bus driver in the episode Taylors in Hollywood, that was episode 168, passed away of heart failure in his home in Occidental, California on March the 21st. He was 88 years old. Robert Nichols was born in Oakland, California on July 20th, 1924, the day before Don Knotts. He began performing in high school and continued to do so in the Army Special Services during World War II. He later earned a scholarship to study at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. He went on to become a familiar face, if not always a name, in a distinguished career as an accomplished actor, singer, and dancer of both stage and screen during his performing career of more than 5 decades. He was a scene stealer in 1952's Sally and St. Anne, which also featured Frances Bouvier. There's a YouTube clip of him dancing, Gomer style. If you'd like to go see it, you can go to the website for the eBullet and click on the link, and you'll be able to see it. In a letter about a year ago to the Andy Griffith Show Rio and Rogers Club's Paul Gykes, Robert wrote about his Mayberry connection. Quote, I gave Ruta Lee her first professional job in a musical called Great to Be Alive. She was adorable. And I also directed Joyce Jameson, that was Fun Girl Skippy, in a musical, Babyface O'Flynn, in which she was terrific. For Mayberry fans, Robert Nichols will always be the friendly Hollywood bus driver who made sure the visiting Taylors got to see the home of some movie stars. And if you'd like to read more about Robert, you can head over to the eBullet, May 2013. The link will be in our show notes here on Two Chairs No Waiting, and you can read more about him. Folks, there's so much more information in the eBullet. Here's a little tidbit for you. There just happened to be the 1,404th chapter of the Andy Griffith Show Rio and Rogers Club. The name, Dogs, 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 is in Hallbrook, New York. I can't believe after 1,400 chapters, nobody already had the name Dogs, Dogs, Dogs. Good job, Holbrook, New York. Folks, if you'd like to start a chapter of the Andy Griffith Show Rio and Rogers Club in your area, all the information about how to do so is found right here in the eBullet. So you can head over and read about it and make a chapter of your very own. Or you can join our online chapter, Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board? That's pretty easy to do. You can contact me if you need to, but the information's all right there at the imayberry.com website, or you can go to tagsrdbc.com and look there. You'll find out how to sign up and become a member of the online chapter, but I do encourage you to have a chapter of your own in your local area. So definitely do that. Folks, there's so much more stuff in the eBullet, and I'm just going to hit some little high points here, and we'll keep going through, but there's merchandise stuff there. You can get stuff that's really hard to find. There's a book about the Dillards called Everybody on the Truck, The Story of the Dillards by Lee Grant. It's very rare, hard to get. They have one autographed copy from the original Dillards. Very hard to get. Then there's a great book if you like Andy Griffith Show. Mayberry RFD was its sister series, and you can get a guide to television's Mayberry RFD by Dale Robertson and David Fernandez. It's a great book if you've never gotten to watch all the episodes or don't remember them. Head over to Weaver's Department Store and check those out. There are just so many things there. Even, oh, don't miss this one, Goober in a Nutshell by George Lindsay. Goober in a Nutshell. And the foreword was by Ernest Borgnine himself. It's a 1995 autobiography of George Lindsay. It's been out of print for a few years, but George's family has graciously provided a few copies to Weaver's Department Store, which George kept safe all these years. He used them in fundraisers and donated them to things, but so they're still pristine, so definitely head over and get you a copy. You can get a plain copy for $15. You can get one autographed by George for $100. Definitely something you don't want to miss. DVDs, Matlock DVDs. We got Don Knotts Disney movies, all kinds of things over at Weaver's. So, folks, support the Andy Griffith Show Rio and Rogers Club and drop by over at Weaver's and pick up some of these things. I know I do a advertisement every week for Weaver's Department Store, but I just want to encourage you that Weaver's supports all these wonderful things you see, all these different events. around the country about the Andy Griffith Show. Let's do a quick run through of some of the chapter news. The biggest chapter news and Mayberry news in general since our last issue of the eBullet was the third annual Mayberry Comes to Westminster Festival in Westminster, South Carolina. During the third weekend in April, thousands of fans turned out to see cast members from the Andy Griffith Show, Maggie Peterson, Charlene, and Leroy McNeese, one of the country boys, along with a host of Mayberry tribute artists and the VW boys, who you're hearing in the background right now, and who all knows what all. Spearheaded by the Andy Griffith Show Realtors Club's Laura Lee Hobbs chapter in Westminster, the event received support and participation from dozens of chapters and at-large DAGS RWC members from at least 10 states, with strong support from local businesses and civics groups and general public. The event has thrived, rain or shine. Now, the Barney chapter in Greensboro, North Carolina, shares in the outrage of thousands of other Andy Griffith Show viewers in the area at the Mayberry flagship WFMY TV's moving the Andy Griffith Show from its decades-long traditional time slot of weekdays at 5:30 p.m., right before the local news. They've moved it to the mid-afternoon wasteland to make room for some newfangled semi-news show of some sort. You know, like Barney choosing not to buy postage stamps from that machine. We hear folks aren't watching the replacement show. So reports about what's the new newsy show is all about are kind of sketchy. Age of miracles like DVRs and DVDs notwithstanding, there's always been something special about watching the Andy Griffith Show on WFMY live at 5:30, where the show has always been the appointed television. The seeds of the Andy Griffith Show Real Watchers Club itself were sown by watching the Andy Griffith Show at 5:30 on WFMY more than 40 years ago. Piedmont Triad of North Carolina keep those calls, emails, and letters going to the letters to the editors coming. We defy the WMI mafia. Folks, don't let that pass you by. If you live in that area, make sure you're letting them know that you don't like them taking the Andy Griffith Show off. I live here in Huntsville, and they've moved it around here. And while I do like when it comes on, it's not the same as watching it while you're eating supper or right before you eat supper. So head over there and do it. Folks, if you're not a subscriber to the eBullet, you're not getting to see all these great pictures and all the wonderful other articles that are in the eBullet that I didn't read through. Jim Clark lets us use the eBullet and use his content for our podcast, trying to spread the word, and I'm trying to spread it. So head on over to our podcast website, Two Chairs No Waiting. Look for this episode, which is number 238, and you'll find a link to how to subscribe to the eBullet. And I know you're not going to be disappointed. It'll come right into your email mailbox every other month. Well, folks, that's all I've got for us tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I have enjoyed spending time with you right here in Mayberry, and I hope you have enjoyed it as well. And definitely want to encourage you to support the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. Sign up for the eBullet and buy stuff over at Weaver's Department Store. Hey, I'd like to hear from you. Tell me what you love about the Andy Griffith Show. Tell me if your station's taking stuff off there, and we need to try to stop that too. Email me at floyd@imayberry.com. Give me a call at 888-684-8415, or drop by our Facebook page over at facebook.com/2chairs and leave me a message. And folks, you go out and have a wonderful Mayberry week, and we'll see you right here next week on Two Chairs No Waiting, your Mayberry podcast.